Welcome.
Welcome. Episode number 16.
Oh, really? That many already? Right on.
16.
I'm going to have to check some out then. Yeah, I've been slacking.
Yeah, for sure. So you're our first guest that we've had on that we didn't really know ahead of time. Like all our other guests, either one of us have known them, mostly me, just because I've been around for a while. But Joel Baker said we got to have Keith on the podcast, and what Joel says goes. And so
that's
here
right.
we are.
That's right. I like that because when Joel got a hold of me and just mentioned to me, I was like, I was pretty actually stoked and just taken back by that. I don't know, but they're really rad dudes since I met them for the first time. I think it's 5 years ago I went to Scam for the first time. It was just open arms, and man, I can't say anything bad about those dudes for sure.
Yeah. So Keith Fayant, we're glad you're here.
Thanks.
And we are excited to hear about the skate scene in a different area than what we normally talk about, because a lot of our guests have been from here.
Yeah.
And you're from, I'm assuming most of your stories are going to be from Thompson.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. We're excited to get some shout out for Thompson on the podcast.
Oh, for sure. There's a good scene growing up there for sure. So lots of stuff happened up there and brought me to where I am today.
Awesome.
So, you can't doubt that for sure.
Yeah.
So where did it all start then? Like your skateboarding?
I was telling him earlier, I remember in grade 6, actually, our classroom had a door that led out to the baseball diamonds and everything, and there's a long sidewalk with a ledge. I remember one day we just poked our head out there, and there was some older guy. He was doing pop shove at 50-50 still on this ledge, and me and my buddies were just taken back by that and started watching, and then we ended up sneaking out of the class, just kind of took off there without teacher noticing, and went up to this guy and checked him out, and he was just like, hey, you want to try? And so we put it on the grass, not on the concrete. And I mean, within, it must have been 10 tries. I think I spun a shove it and like landed on the board. And like right there was just like, wow, grin. No ollies or nothing, right? You couldn't get that yet. That's pretty, but just the way you kicked the board for a shove it, it went, and holy cow, I think that grabbed me right there. And I was like, okay.
How old would you have been?
Well, I was grade 6, so I mean, what's that, 12 or something?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I think grade 7, end of grade 7, I got my first board, and I was 13.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So since after that, I think my buddy came to our school from another school. He got kicked out of his school because whatever. A troublemaker, but he had a pair of Vans, and then he got his first board. I remember it was Santa Cruz Spark Plug or something. Man, it was a wide board too. I think it was like an 8-incher, but back then when you're small, like, man, that board seemed big. It was a slick too, so geez, it was like a big chunk of wood, man. Like, we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't get it off the ground, but for my birthday, I got money that year. It was the end of the year too, end of August. So with that money, I went to the sports store in Thompson and bought my first deck. I remember it was a Kingdom, but man, I think it would cost $250, $260 or something like that. Like, dude, the prices were just...
That would have been a lot of money back then.
Unreal, I know, but so... And you skated that thing, but I remember the Grand Kings. Can't remember what kind of bearings. We had Lucky bearings, Kingdom deck. But yeah, it was... that set it all off right there.
Yeah.
And we were out running for sure.
Awesome.
Causing mischief all over town. Yeah.
So what were you skating back in those days?
Skating? Oh, man, there was nothing. I mean... Really starting the driveways, man. We were all cracking the driveways where you started, right?
Yeah.
After the crack, you go to a hockey stick and then 2x4.
Yeah.
Stand the 2x4 up, ride down the driveway, man, up on the curb on the other end. Then after that, you're off to the races, man. You're looking for 1 stair, 2 stair, 3 stair, just going.
Once you can, I just remember the freedom. Once you could ollie up a curb, it's just like, now the city is mine.
Yeah. And that's it. And man, we took Thompson, like, for sure. Like, and when I grew up too, then that's what but we had a crew of, I don't know, man, there must have been 20 plus guys all together. Just, all the guys you grew up with that from all the different schools, we yelling at each other from hockey and various sports. So when we all got onto the boards and started doing that, it was pretty reckless, actually. Yeah, but it was good. You can't change that. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the older kids too. I mean, you had a lot of older guys that were doing it because that's what you looked up to. You seen the older guys doing it, right? And it was always looked at as, you mean, oh, skateboarders, you guys are, you may no good, troublemakers and stuff like that. But I mean, it wasn't around. People didn't accept it, but we did. And I think that's what drawn us to it. Like, there's no coach. There was no, I mean, depending on your goalie or your teammate, it was just you battling this, falling on concrete, getting up, and, you know what I mean, you're doing it again. You know what I mean? You get one skate shirt, and then the older guys are telling you, change your clothes, you poser. You know what I mean? Because you have one shirt, and that's all you had, right? You know, it was worn out on the side from carrying your board.
Yeah.
But that's all you had, and, geez, you loved it. I still remember those 2 shirts I had. I mean, I wish I had them still, but, yeah.
Yeah, it's, I think we can all relate to that idea, like, of being able to, like, just go out there and, like you say, you're not dependent on a team or a coach or anything. You're just going out, and it's just like improving yourself and learning from each other, getting hyped on what your buddy is doing. And
for sure. I think that played such a big role. Like, even nowadays, I can't go skate by myself anymore. I need to be out with somebody feeding off people, be it if they're just beginning or if they're, you know what I mean, way more ahead of me. But either way, if I see somebody do their first ollie or anything, I mean, ollie off a curb, ride off a curb.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there, that stokes me, and then that just sparks me, and I'm gone. Right.
Yeah.
And I need that. And I mean, it's no fun falling by yourself anymore. You know, my age. I mean, like, right. But then again, when you go skating with people in your out for a session, when I fall, okay, that wakes me up. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to get that good fall out of the way, and okay, now let's really go. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can definitely relate to that. Yeah. So when you and your buddies were shredding around Thompson, were you getting kicked out of spots, or? Oh
man, geez, we used to wake up 8 a.m, you know what I mean, skate 12 hours a day. We'd circle the town 3 times. You know what I mean? People must be like, they'd be wondering, like, what the heck? These kids are back again? You know what I mean? It's 12. We kicked you out at 9. You're back at 12. You know, when you're back at 4 again, 3 times a day we get kicked out of these spots.
Yeah.
Right? But, you know what I mean? That's what you did. You got kicked out of one spot, you moved on to the next one.
Right.
Right? And that's just, you know, there's nowhere to go. There was no park growing up. It was more, geez, I can remember what it looks like, but I remember we would just run around there as kids. Small little street section. Had a big, wouldn't be a vert ramp, but geez, it had to have been about 8 to 10 feet, so it was pretty big. And then smaller section, maybe 5 feet into a spine, into another corner. Like, to ride that nowadays would be pretty fun. I mean, but I haven't seen a couple guys dropping in on that back then, and I was too young to really remember. And then the street section was just small, a couple little kickers. You know what I mean? That must have been the early middle 90s maybe. So
yeah,
I mean,
sounds almost like it would have been more of a bike park.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you didn't see really people biking because skateboarding was going on there. And then I remember seeing guys just bailing on. It scared me from we couldn't even run up the ramp. You know what I mean? Couldn't run up in and grab the coping in the big part, because so I mean, no way in heck we were jumping in on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that got torn down like everything else. I mean, kids broke in and underneath it, lit fires. It was unstable, so instead you had to take that down. So we were left with the streets. Well, that's where everything started anyway.
Yeah.
So back to the streets.
Yeah, and mid 90s, that would have been like everything was about the streets at that point, anyways,
sure.
right?
Yeah, everything just died out. Like, that was a little bit before I started, but I mean, everything died, vert died, all that stuff, and but started growing again, and man, it took off, and I mean, that's all you want to do every day.
So how big is Thompson?
Well, I remember when I was in grade 4, there's 15,000. I was taught that in one of my classes. So, but I mean, I don't know. They say there's about 15,000, 14,000 now, but I mean, with all the surrounding communities, I mean, you're the hub of the north, so you got people coming in.
Right.
It's always packed. There's always commotion. It's pretty hectic. I mean, oh, geez. Yeah, there's lots going on up there for sure. Yeah.
So, high school skateboarding, what did that look like for you?
Oh, geez, it was good. I mean, we weren't allowed to bring our boards to school because, you know, I mean, that's But you could ride your bike to school, but you couldn't
Right.
use your board for transportation to school. So we did whatever we could. I mean, hide in your locker or whatever. And we had a nice big long 3-stair in the forum there in the high school. So that was nice. There's only a few people that could actually ollie it. So not too many people skated, but we'd roll around. We'd do all that. Actually, high school lots of getting kicked out of spots. That was one of those places we got kicked out nonstop. The west side of the school where the teachers parked, there was a 2-stair. Both stairs were capped with metal edges, so we were grinding, learning 50s, all that stuff. So here's a good one for you guys. We were skating, me and my 2 other buddies. It was springtime, so we're on the west side of the school. We all live on, let's say, the east side, like other side of the school kind of deal. So springtime, snow's melting. We're skating there. Big janitor comes out, kicked us out. Every day. He's getting tired of it, right? Like, he's sick of it, man. So, like, he comes out. He's like, you guys kicked you out already today or whatever kind of deal. We're like, yeah, we could read the sign. I mean, we'll be back later kind of deal, right? So, my backpack was on top of the stairs. My buddies were standing at the bottom. I said, one more trick. So I tried one more 3-flip. I didn't land it. I know that. But I went back up, grabbed my board, and the guy starts walking towards us. So we were like, okay, whatever. Start walking away. So we cut across the front of the school. There's a big walkway right in front of the school and a snowbank, then the big whole yard, and then Thompson Drive. So we're walking towards our area there. And this guy starts following us, just keeps following us. And I think, what the heck? He's a big dude, too, man. Like, I think I was 15 years old, man. So I don't know, 150 pounds maybe, if that, right? Scrawny skateboarder. And he keeps following us. And what do you want? Like, he keeps following us. Like, you know what I want? I'm like, so I kind of urged my board back towards him, like pointing it out behind me. I'm like, oh, you want this? He's like, yeah, I want that. Give it here. I'm like, well, you ain't getting it, man. Yeah. This dude starts running and he starts sprinting. So we all start taking off running down the sidewalk, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking, think quick. I'm like, if I jump this snowbank, he's going to chase 2 guys rather than 1, right? And I'm like, just doing quick math, right? So I jumped the snowbank. Oh, okay, I'm all good. He's going to chase them both. I turn around, he jumped that snowbank and he's chasing me. Right? So I start ripping across the front of the school. And there's all puddles and stuff, right? It's springtime. I slip in the puddle just like in the movies, man. And I look behind me and he's still running at me. I get up and I keep running. This guy's chugging. I got my backpack on me. It's just bouncing around. And like right across the street, there's a daycare. So I see this daycare and there's a cab sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to that cab. I'm going to hop in the cab, lock the door, all good, right? So I run across the street through traffic, you know what I mean, dodging some cars, get to that cab, and I start trying to open the back door right away, like really quick. This guy's gaining on me. The cabbie locks the door because he doesn't know what's going on. He just thinks I'm seeing this guy run into the cab. This kid, he locks the door, and all of a sudden, I get put in a chokehold. This guy started choking me, this janitor. He ran off school property. He spun me out of the chokehold. He cracked me right in the lip, split up my lip, took my board, and whacked me over the shoulder. Like, bam, right? So, like, I'm like, wow. And I just got this board too with a blind 9 lives. Like, oh, dude, like, so you can't break these 9-ply, whatever. And brand new board. I'm stoked on it. He took it and he starts walking back towards the high school. I'm following him, like, dude, give me my board back. He's like, I'll give it to you back again, right across the head. I'm like, holy cow, like, this guy's nuts. Right? Like, I'm spitting out blood. My lip, I still got a scar, like, cut right through my lip. My neck was ringed out. And I, like, the nose mark was on my shoulder. And I get back to the school and, like, these janitors are all other janitors are outside and they're like, I'm like, did you see that? They're like, see what? I'm like spitting out blood. They're like, oh no, we didn't see nothing. What are you talking about? They're like, the cops are on their way. Like, yeah, so you better go. I'm like, what? No word of lie. And I caught my buddies. They're just standing there like in shock, like, what the heck? You know what I mean? And so we kept walking towards their area, and then right in front of the school there's a big roundabout by the office, and like no word of lie, like 5 minutes later, like 4 cop cars surround us. Keith, you're on arrest for well, they knew my name from getting kicked out from all these places, right? Like, Keith, you're on arrest for trespassing. Like, I'm like, you serious? Arrested me, put me in a car, and actually instead of taking me to the station, they just took me home. And then my mom answered the door. She's like, what's going on? Skateboarding again. You know what I mean? Like, that was it. My mom was like super cool. And I was like, he's trespassing. She's like, he's skateboarding. And I told my mom, I'm like, yeah, look, like, dude, like, busted me up, right?
Yeah.
That guy actually like quit his job and like left town 2 days later. Gone.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Because I think he knows he like
Yeah.
messed up.
Crossed
big
the
time.
line.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they like 15. The guy was big. Like he was some, I'd say Scandinavian guy. So he's like 6'2", man. Like big dude. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's like that was a taste of it growing up right away. So
Yeah.
and that put in your mind too, like, okay, like whatever. I was skating,
Yeah.
man. I was jumping down 2 stairs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we get lucky, but dude, we're kids. You think you know a lot, but come on,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't know
But
nothing.
it definitely reinforces that that anarchist.
Oh yeah, well for
mindset,
sure.
right?
I mean, yeah, and then that just goes against I mean, society says, oh, this got to be like this. Well, you start thinking, well, why is it got to be like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
because you guys are putting all these rules and this is how we got to do it. Well, obviously that's not working because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that was a good story. I like that one. I was surprised kids that one. I bring that one out to kids too when I see them at the park, and they're like, and one kid rolled up to me. He must have been about 12 at the park, and he's like, rolls up beside me. He knows who I am. I'm the old guy, right? The old guy that's skating there, or whatever. And he goes up to me. He's got a brand new slush from the store, and he takes the cap off the slush and he just throws it on the ground beside me. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
He thought it was gonna be like, oh yeah, punk rock, that's
Yeah.
sweet, you know what I mean, right? And I'm like, no. I'm like, dude. I'm like, pick that up. I'm like, who's gonna pick that up? Oh no, I'm like, sit down, man. Sit down on the curb. And so sat down on the curb with me, and we sat down. I'm like, let me tell you a story. So I told him that story.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, listen, I'm like, we fought hard to get a park. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I told him like, dude, I got tuned in by a janitor. You know what I mean? Before we had a park, and park's right by the pool too. So I told him, I'm like, look at this. I'm like, this family walks out with their kids and stuff like that, and this kid wants to skateboard, right? But his dad walks out and his mom walks out, and all they see is, you know what I mean, all their kids just tossing empty beer cans. I mean, you're throwing your slush cup wherever, you know what I mean, you're leaving your garbage everywhere. Is that dad gonna let that kid go to the park and skate when that's what he sees?
Yeah.
I mean, or is he gonna like want that kid, okay, it looks decent, man, it's clean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guys are cleaning up each other. Where's that kid gonna go? Well, the kid's gonna be allowed to go then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no, when you guys
exactly.
are we got one park in Thompson. It's different than cities where
Yeah.
you got 10
Exactly.
parks, and everybody knows everybody in Thompson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a different scene out cities, but Thompson has got that one, and we fought long, man, to get that place. So, I mean, and then that kid was kind of taken back, but I watched him the rest of the day skate. I knew what he needed. Like he's trying tricks, and according to my I'm watching. I'm like, okay. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you're working on this trick. I'm like, I know if you just go like this, we can tweak that a little bit, man. You land it. And I asked him to play skate at the end of the day. He's like, oh no, I don't want to play skate with you. I'm like, why? Like, no. Like, oh, we're just gonna skate. You're gonna learn some tricks. He learned 3 tricks in that game of skate.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
nice.
like, you know what I mean? That right
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
the kid was just stoked. Like he was just, you take that time, you sit down with kids, you talk to them rather than just losing it on them.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a
exactly.
long way. And then
Yeah.
you tell them too, when you see another kid like throwing his McDonald's, on the ground or whatever, spitting on the park, like tell him like, dude, look, come on, pick it up. I mean, I'm telling you, and then you pass it on to the next guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there all the time, and then you're going to be there. So,
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about that a few times on the podcast, the idea of how skateboarders are self-regulating. Like the older ones are teaching the younger ones, and
Oh,
then
for sure.
when they're the older ones, they're
Yeah.
teaching, and that's how we keep the park etiquette in check. And
and that's
yeah.
a huge thing, park etiquette, man. So many kids these days don't understand any of that crap, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to say, I'm sorry, but scooter kids up north, dude, I don't know what anywhere else, but man, they are ruthless. I mean, like, you just want to talk to them. Same thing, like, at least this younger skater kids will listen to you, right? Because, well, they look up to you and respect you and
Right.
stuff like that. But these scooter kids they got their own agenda. Because back when I was growing up, man, hey, man, like, I had buddies, man, and myself too. We get our hats would get stolen from the older guys.
Mhm.
I like that hat, dude. I'm taking it. Right? Or like, oh, that's a brand new board. Oh, snap. Whoops. Sorry. You're like, dude, man, that board is $120. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you mean at one point I was going through like 10 decks a year, summer.
Yeah.
A short summer in Thompson.
Yeah.
Adding, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
And that's when the dad was like, dude, you're going to Stan store and I'm buying you a pair of shoes. And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm not skating in Stan. But he's like, no, listen to this. You walk around in your good shoes. You skate these $15 Stan right? He's like, do you want decks all summer? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, skate these. Like, come on, start using your head. And that's had to start realizing, okay, I got to start skating planks, right? Breaking decks, start skating. You know, I mean, cheaper shoes, but I still have my nice, skate shoes to walk around and kicking in. But then that didn't take long before you're skating those things.
Well,
too.
exactly.
But, yeah, you pop one trick and then you're like, oh, that feels so good. I want to do it. Yeah, and you keep going and you're like, oh. But then that's what brings you to like, okay, I got to get a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't have your parents buying you crap all the time. You know, they helped. They were always super supportive, but yeah.
So what was the first job that supported your skate habit?
My first job? Oh, pumping gas. My buddy's mom, manager at Petro. So, like, we had all us. There's an older skater worked there. Me and my buddy, probably one of my best buddies growing up. So, yeah, we did that. I mean, wasn't much, but at that age, I mean, that's what you did. I mean, whatever it was, I don't know, $400.
Yeah.
Maybe every 2 weeks, something like that. But, yeah, maybe
skating the curb when it's slow.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's, yeah. So, that was good.
So, is there any kind of indoor skating that you guys would do, or you just wait?
No, just all the stuff we built for ourselves and inside and stuff. I mean, what do we have indoor? Like, actually growing up, nothing would be, I mean, you go to garages that were, you know what I mean? It's 30 below and you're trying to push a little bit and pop a couple of tricks. Your bushings are just frozen. Like, you ain't turning. Your trucks are tight as it is when you're young because, you know what I mean? Yeah, you ain't got your balance yet and stuff. So
for sure.
But as we got older, you know, I mean, people started getting places. You know, my buddies actually had nice garages. We had a few places in town too. Actually, the pool. Buddy used to let us skate in there after hours. Nobody knew about that. It was our own little secret. So he'd be cleaning. Everybody would go home at 9. We'd sneak in there with their duffel bag and our boards, 4 liters of water, and just skate for a couple hours and then go for a swim after. So
nice.
Yeah, and then that we just kept that low key to us. We didn't tell any of the, the younger guys. It was just kind of me and my couple of buddies. So yeah,
cool.
And then that lasted for so long, and then I think after that we had our own places, right? So I mean, first house I went to look at to rent. First thing I seen in the basement, I was like, I could build a mini ramp right there. like no living room, man. I'm like, the ramp's going right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before you know it, like the spare room, I was like, exposed studs. I was like pulling them off the wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, like taking stuff off the wall, using pegboard, like anything I get my hands on, right? Like, and we did it. And I think that was 3 ramps later, like 3 trials or whatever.
Yeah.
Building them. I think we got a good one in the basement. I think it was 4 feet wide. 4.5, 2 feet high, but man, geez, we ripped that thing hard.
Yeah.
Oh man, I learned so many tricks on that over the winter. So, yeah, just stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As you get a new place, you get a garage, so build a better ramp.
Yeah.
So I went from there. Yeah, and every year it's just, hey buddy, what's going on in your garage tonight? You know what I mean? Yeah. You clean buddy's garage too. Hey man, I'll clean it up, man. I'll sweep it.
Yeah. Organize
Organize it for you. And they're like, oh, you don't got to like, no, like that's. As skateboarders, that's what you do, right? It's like, you'll do whatever you can just to,
for sure.
Hey, I'll take your garbage to the dump, man, whatever. Like, let's clean this thing out, man. Hey, can I use that for a bank? You know what I mean? You're going.
Yeah. And then at some point, you started working on getting a park up there. Is that...
yeah, well, we had a couple parks. We had... I can't remember we started the one. I think the first one I really remember is... Same thing I think around here, like you mentioned. We got some funding, be it, I don't know, say 10, 20 grand. And then some parents volunteered to build the ramps kind of deal. But then same time too, which is awesome. Like props to that guy. I can't remember who it was. But he built it. But I mean, you're building a little fly box. I mean, stuff like that. And some of the stuff was, well, because he's not a skateboarder. You can't expect him to. But, he put the time and effort and he did it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's wood ramps up north in Thompson, so you put it on a crappy slab of concrete in the mall parking lot. You mean the springtime comes, like, dude, you had so much snow on there and all wet, like, it was pretty much toast after 1 year. So then that one was done. Then this wasn't even safe to ride on it because everything's laminating, right? It's just, so that one was done. Then they tried again.
Did you guys have problems with people breaking the ramps and stuff?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we started building our own ramps, and we had this one church in my area that we knew would clear all the snow, like the first place in the town. You know what I mean? Like, it always got hit with that sun every year. Same spot, right? So the parking lot, it was smooth, good. It wasn't getting warped yet. So we put our own ramps there, bring plywood, put banks on you mean like the parking, plug-in stuff like that. So we had banks. Sure. We used snow banks. We put plywood on for banks. We'd have banks all over the place. We'd bring our rails, our boxes, and skate. And that was like our go-to place. It was right in my area too. It was 5 minutes from my place. And then we were getting a ride home one night from, and so kids were always trying to break this stuff. Like, little kids in the bush throwing rocks at us. You know, we weren't there breaking. So get this. We used to skate there all the time. So, we'd sweep the place. We'd keep it clean, right? Yeah. These church guys, whoever ran it, whatever, let us skate there because, we'd keep our wood out to the side and stuff like that. Yeah. But we're getting a ride home from get together at a friend's place. Geez, I don't know how old we were. I was 17, man. Maybe not even 18 yet. Yeah, because I had to be home by a certain time, so I wasn't even 18. And my buddy was staying over my place, and we were pulling in the one street, and we seen cops across. And this church is right across from our school, like the elementary school I grew up going to. So we pulled in this one street, and you can see from the one house where we were, and we were all packed in this car, right? So we told them, like, don't go over there because we seen cops were at the elementary school, right? Right between the church and the school. Cops were there with squad cars and their lights on. So we're like, what the heck? Like, don't drive around that way. We'll just hop out here, right? Because there were like freaking 8 of us in there or whatever. Yeah. So we started walking through the church, right? It's close to home. And then all of a sudden, like, we walk by the church where we skate, and there's all these broken windows at this church. Like, what the heck? So we keep walking. Okay, what the heck? And all of a sudden, these girls walk by us. And these are the little girls that were throwing rocks at us forever, right? So shit like that. Yeah. And then they start laughing, pointing at us. Like, what the heck? And sure enough, there's those cops again, circle us, pull up. There we go. Like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, what do you mean? We're like, we're going home. I got to be home at 11. It's 10 to 11. We got to go. Well, why'd you guys do that? We're like, do what? They're like, yeah, you guys know what you did. We're like, no, we don't. Like, what's going on? Those girls are laughing. They take off. Those cops were already there before we were there. Right. So obviously it wasn't us. Yeah. Right. We skate there every day. Yeah. I'm like, come on, skaters, we're not freaking dumb. Might be a little bit out there, but we're not dumb. And then, sure enough, we get arrested, put in the cop car, showed us the windows. We're like, dude, we skate here every day. I'm like, why are we gonna ruin that? Yeah. Like, you guys don't get this. Like, we're allowed to skate here. Sure enough, no, get taken home again. There's my mom, Brenda, again. Oh, yeah, what'd you do? I'm like, we didn't do it. I'm like, she's like, they skate there every day, like telling the cops, you know what I mean? Like, so they had nothing. But, come on. That was ongoing nonstop. Yeah. Thompson, so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not just Thompson. It's everywhere where, like, you get the riffraff around. Like, even here, a lot of times, like back in the old days, there was a lot of riffraff that kind of was around where the skaters would skate, and then they would be up to all this mischief. Yeah. But the skaters would always get blamed because it happened over there where the skaters are. So obviously it's the skaters. It's like, well, why would the skaters do that? They're busy skating.
No, and that's it too. Like, come on. That stuff just drives me nuts. Yeah. Like, we're in the zone, man. We're doing some, like, people don't understand how hard you work skating, man. Like, dude, it's everything. Workout, dude, you get beat up, man. Yeah. You get up, you work on a trick for days on end, sometimes freaking weeks. Yeah. Yeah. You get it right away, but then you want more. You don't got time to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Ruining what you got.
Yeah. I remember one time we stopped at the skate park in Swift Current. Yeah. And somebody had got a hold of a spray bomb and just spray bombed the whole park, with ridiculous stuff. Like, it was just, and the city, like, it was a pretty new skate park at that time, and the city threatened to shut it down
because of all that.
Because the kids weren't respecting it. It's like, well, it's not the skaters doing that. The skaters are skating. Yeah. It's all the extra kids that just hang out there. They're the ones doing that. So it's like, really, you're gonna build a skateboard and you're going to shut it down and then force people to go do that somewhere else.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
next thing you know, it'll be on your businesses and stuff.
Oh, I know it will. 'Cause then and that's it too, right? Then you start pissing off people, skaters, and okay, well, you don't like that. Well, I'm gonna go grind up your picnic tables.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna. Fix it back up when I'm done. Your planters, well, they're toast too. I mean, sorry, right? Like,
yeah.
We had the same issue in Thompson, man. Like stuff people would draw at the park, racial slurs.
Right.
So I told the city too. Got a pretty good relationship with the city growing up there. So just from hockey and growing up around there, and then tell them like I got guys that really good graffiti artists, man. I'm like they'll come and they'll repaint this whole place good. Let's get rid of all this garbage, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like if you guys could chip in for a little bit of paint, whatever, like he's not gonna charge nothing because he gets the spray paint. He gets a free canvas.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's covered with good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but did they go for it? No, because that's just, we can't have anybody painting on there. Okay, but you're going to let, all these racial slurs and everything go on there and stuff like I think a lot of people, they got to figure out what's going on with them. Like the city and stuff like that. I think they're missing a lot of big issues.
Yeah. And like, I think in some ways it's our responsibility as the older skaters to try and educate them and
for
let
sure,
them
and voice your
understand.
opinion.
Yeah.
And I was at that for a while in Thompson too, and then it got to the point where it just felt like you're going nowhere. You know what I mean? You just get that run around, and then it got to the point where like, you know what, I'm just gonna skate, and I'll help out the young kids and talk with them, and we build that snowball that way.
Yeah,
teach them by example, and just talking with them, sitting down with them rather than, putting this fight because we did in the skate park, and but it never ends. But
yeah.
So you're from the Winnipeg area now?
No,
like
I live in Brandon now.
Oh, you live in Brandon.
So, I've been down there for the last 3 years. I was still working in Thompson though, like I work in a mine.
Oh yeah.
So I was working 4 weeks on. I come down south for my 2 weeks off.
Oh okay, yeah.
But now I'm got a new job in Red Lake, so I'm doing 2 and 2 now. So I only got to work 2 weeks and I'm back. So now I don't got to go out to Thompson anymore. So.
Oh yeah.
So it's my first summer back, or first springtime away from Thompson, and geez, ever so seeing the concrete and like no snow, like they're still getting hammered with snow right now.
I'm
out skating around right now, so it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Winter felt so short for me. Usually I used to, like I said, it'd be still snowboarding up there right now.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm down here and I'm pushing. So
awesome.
Brandon's got a real nice park.
Yeah, they do.
So.
And I'm starting to meet some guys around there now too.
Yeah,
Still getting comfortable.
good.
Once I get comfortable with guys, then I feel good and I get out and do my thing. So
for sure.
Yeah.
When we had Jaden on, he was talking about like he mentioned your name as somebody is influential for him. Skateboarding up in Thompson. Were you running a shop? Like I can't remember from what he was saying if it was that you had a shop or what was, or were you just the older guy in the park like you're saying and just like trying to be a influence on the young guys?
No, man, we did it. We dropped in. We went for it. Yeah, we'd have a shop. So
awesome.
That was a dream. Come on, that's our skateboard
yeah.
kid's dream. I mean,
for sure.
wouldn't that be sick just to even have your own shop, show up, skate to work, and
so
I did.
How did that come up? Like, what was the thinking behind getting that going? Other than obviously, like you said, every skateboarder wants to do that, but like, was there nothing there or
no?
what?
We had a sports store. It was a Doug's Source for Sports. So it was a Source for Sports store.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, right? So I mean, they would order in their stuff. I mean, but you can go, and as a young kid growing up, you can ask them for any help or advice or anything, right? It's a sports store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they had they had the money where they could order decks in and grip tape and stuff like that. But I mean, you're paying, it's not a skate shop. I mean,
right.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we had that and it was expensive because you could charge it. It's Thompson. Where else are you going to go? That's it. I mean, so I remember a lot of buddies growing up, some older guys that kept hearing, oh, they're going to start a shop, or I've been working on this, and then fall through. But I remember talking with my auntie. I was working on Home Hardware. I think I was 18. And no, I was talking with my auntie. She was actually the, what do you want to call it, accountant for Home Hardware.
Okay.
She's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I want to run a skate shop. Like, I want a skate shop. So she's like, okay, well, she knew for some reason. I don't know. She's like, when you want to do that, you let me know, and I'll be there to help you, right?
Okay.
So this is gonna come back to play, right? So whatever. I was 18, so years down the road, I think I just got fired from, I don't know if it was the mine or the airport or something like that. Just young, right? I mean, 24 or whatever. My grandpa was getting ill, and he asked my mom. He's like, "What does Keith want to do?" No, and she just brought up. She's like, "Well, Keith wants to run a skate shop. Like, that's his dream, kind of deal." And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, he was sick, right? He was getting sick, and he's like, well, let's do it." I mean, that's where I heard my mom told me that.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I'm not sick.
That's
so,
amazing.
I mean, right there, so we started kind of brainstorming how we're gonna start, go about it. I mean, asking some people that had input in the industry, kind of deal, and then like where to go from there. So we sat down with the family and my brothers and sisters, kind of figured out a name and stuff like that, and we came up with Foobs Skate and Snow. So people might think it's Fubs or whatever, but my nickname growing up was Foobar. So
okay.
So my one brother was like, well, why don't you just call it Foobs? Everybody calls you Foobs, right?
Yeah.
So nickname. So I'm like, yeah. I'm like, good. That works with me. If you guys are all good with that, so
Cool.
that's how Foobs Skate and Snow started. So, and at the same time too, the park was supposed to be opening the same year we were opening the shop.
Oh, okay.
So the city was all on track, like all this stuff we worked on for years and the fundraising to get at the same time. But did it happen with the city? No. I mean, come on, it's the city. They're behind everything, but we got it together and we did it. And oh man, it was awesome. It was fun, doing trade shows, all that stuff. But man, it was hard. I was young.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents were all in. Like, thanks to them, man. I mean, like, dude, my dad worked his regular job, supporting all of us in sports. Traveling, all that stuff, and then he put in time there. I mean, my mom was working a couple of jobs, raising all the kids too. Like, dude, my parents didn't stop. So I think that's where I'm always on the go now. Like, now I'm older and I realize I'm like, I don't stop really. I like go. Because if it's nice out and I'm staying home and I waste a day, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty choked. I mean, like, fuck, I could be out there, right? But well, that's what we did. We went for it, and summertimes are good. I mean, you've been there. I mean, summertime sales are good, man. Hard goods are going because kids are breaking decks, ripping shoes, blowing out bearings, all that stuff. But go back to school, man. You're toast September, October,
Other
November.
than maybe Christmas.
Yeah, and then this speeds up for end of November, December. You're good, but everybody's broke after Christmas.
Yeah, January to
till springtime.
May is,
I mean, so that's that. And so those times were good, like those in the spring and the summer. But I mean, we couldn't keep going. I mean, you sell a snowboard in the winter or a jacket. Yeah. Okay, well, you sell $500 right there. Family buys a kid some. Okay, but he doesn't need a jacket now for 5 years. Yeah. I mean, when Thompson only being so big, I mean, like, right? Yeah. You got a snowboard. Okay, your snowboard's good for 5 years too. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's not like skateboard deck. Well, geez, I spawn one, I break one the same day. I break 3 boards in one day sometimes. That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Land on your bolts, kids. So, But and then, so we decided, okay, well, let's close this. We'll close it down. It was actually a relief that, it sucked, but it was a relief that we're done. And then sure enough, right when we close, guess what happens? Well, there's the
city puts up the park.
The park's ready to go. I mean, because we had parents coming in with kids and like, well, I'm not going to get you a board until you have a place to go. Yeah. Right. And that's just a lot of parents are like that. They don't want you running around the streets getting beat up by janitors and like that. I mean, right. Exactly. Like, I don't know, like, but.
So how long did you run that shop?
We had the shop for, I think, 3 years, over 3 years. So it was a pretty good go. I mean,
Yeah, similar. So your story would be similar to the story that I have.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned we talked about that. Yeah. So there's lots of similarities there. I mean, you want it, and then people always ask me, would you go back and do it? I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know. If I was super loaded, I mean, it wasn't an issue for sure. I'd live that life again. But, I mean, like, it's a hard goal all around. Like,
you take the finances out of it, it's the best life.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what everybody's attracted to. Yeah, everybody wants that. I mean, like, you wake up, dude, you talk skating all day, man. You talk to kids, like, you see their stoke when they buy that first board, or you show them, like, oh man, like, I remember going in the skate with my grandpa, the one that like helped get the park going. Yeah, I went down a Festival de Voyageur trip when I think it was grade 7 or whatever. No, grade 8 or whatever. We went and we went out for dinner, and then I'm like, I want to go to skate, get a new board, right? This guy, he had good directions, man, but he, like, I don't know, man. He's back alleys. All of a sudden, he popped out, like, right at the shop through an alley on Pembina when it was on Pembina back in the day. And I walked in there, and I was just blown away by his navigation skills like that. But anyway, because there was no GPS back then, nothing. It was just like, you know what I mean? You go.
Yeah, you just knew.
And then we walk in there, and, you know what I mean? I'm just blown away. I'm like, wow, like, dude, like, all these decks.
Yeah.
And I remember the guys there, and I'm like looking at the decks, like, you want to see a deck, man? Like, little dude, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll check out that deck. And they gave it to me, and it's still wrapped in plastic. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. They're like, throw it on the ground, man. Step on it. Like, feel it out. Like, how does it feel? And I'm like, really? Like, put it on the ground? So I put it on the ground. They're like, how does that feel? Try this one. Give me another one. Like, I just remember that feeling, and like that grin. Like, I got that grin right now again because I just remember it. I'm like, that's the best feeling ever. The dudes are so rad. Like, you mean, you didn't get that anywhere else. No. I never felt that anywhere else.
No.
So from that, I always took that with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you mean helping a kid, you know what I mean, help him work on a kickflip and ollie, whatever. Or even when I had the shop, kids would come in. Guess what I did to those kids?
Yeah.
How's that feel, man? Put it on the ground.
Yeah.
How's that shape feel, right? You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. And you always take the good stuff that really stuck out with you growing up as you go through, you know what I mean? And all the bad stuff, you know what I mean? You take it and learn from that. I mean, do you want to be like that or do you not?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was guys growing up that were, you know, and I told myself I don't want to treat other kids like how those guys treated me and my buddies.
Right.
But then you have the ones that are super supportive and like super rad.
Yeah.
And those are guys like, when I see them nowadays, it's still like, hey man, like you did a lot for me and you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and
exactly.
they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, like those little things, like supporting and being like, oh, that was rad. Like, you know what I mean? And then to come to think about it, they were just learning too, because they really were they weren't doing too much of crazy skate tricks.
Right.
But it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
we came so far since then. But
yeah,
just stuff like that. I mean, like, you always make an impact on somebody, man. So
yeah, I think we can all think back of the guys that were the positive impacts on us, you know, when we first rolled up to the park or the spot or whatever, right? Like, we all know that guy that was just super encouraging. And just like stoked that you were there. Yeah, for sure. And obviously you were that guy, like as Jaden talked about on his episode, that it was, you know, you obviously made a huge impact for him, because when we talked about Thompson, that like your name, your shop came up, like.
Oh yeah, and like growing up, and I had like a couple buddies too that were still like, you know, a lot of buddies you grew up with, they phased out of it, which, you know, I mean, you can't blame anybody for that, because I mean, everybody started skating, and then, you mean, you're learning kick flips, heel flips, then you're moving on, and dude, like, you take a beating. You know what I mean? A lot of buddies are like, hey, I don't want to fall anymore. Like, so take shinners all day.
Yeah.
You know, and they're good. Like, they still hung with you. They still live the lifestyle kind of deal, right? Like, you mean, like the commodity, that stuff, right? But I mean, and that was fine. But then you had the guys, like, I kept going because I'm like, I just wanted more. I just wanted to learn that next thing, even for myself, right? Because it's such a, oh, dude, it's so hard. And I think that's why so many kids scooter nowadays. I'm sorry, but like, it's easy to grab a scooter and just go. You know what I mean? And like, where you grab a board and like, man, you try ollie and then you eat it.
Right.
Like, geez, okay, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's freaking hard. You know, it's technical, it's hard. You know what I mean? And they can grab that and just kind of go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the skate park was good. No, skate shop.
Yeah.
It was good.
Nice.
Yeah. We lived that part, did it, right? And you can always say, like, what if? Everybody can say, what if? What if we do this? What if? Well, there's no what if. It's like, hey, we did it. We dropped in. We went for it. You always tell people, drop in. You never know. Right?
Yeah.
Go for it. Now you know what works and you got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say the same, like with the experience of having the shop here. You know, I came out of it in the hole financially.
Yeah.
But man, like, I would do it again. Like, if I was in the same spot, that's what I would do. Like, it was just, it was the right thing at the right time.
Oh, I know. I know. I just think back to those days. Just, just standing there, grip tape and showing people grip boards. And then explaining to kids too. Like, I remember kids coming in like, I want to flip because I do the best kick flips on the flip. And I'm like, dude, sorry to break it to you, but like, you don't do the best kick flips on the flip. You know what I mean? Just having that talk with kids. Like, it's not the board that does your kick flip. You mean whereas you go to sports stores and they'd sell it right away. Like,
right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, flip boards, thing just to make the sale.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's about working with people too. I had a dad come in with his 2 younger kids one time, and they just bought boards on summer holidays. His dad walked in, and you could just tell he's tired, and it's like, oh, my kids say they need new trucks. I'm like, well, let's see these boards, right? So they put the boards up on the table. Freaking no scratches on them, no nothing.
Yeah.
Bushings are just stiff. I mean,
So
I asked the kids, I'm like, what's wrong with your boards? I'm like, dude, when you push them, they turn one way on you all the time. They're like, yeah. I'm like, they're brand new boards, you guys. I'm like, you gotta work them in. I'm like, your bushings are stiff. I mean, so right there, the parent was gonna drop, $80 on some indies, obviously.
Yeah.
But
that's funny because our stories sound so similar because I was my worst salesperson.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
Like kids would come in, oh, I need this, I need that, and it's
but
like, no, you don't. Dude, just go skate it.
No, for sure. Yeah, exactly. That's totally it. But it comes back. That's that good moral though. It comes back to you because I explained to those kids, and then the dad told those kids, "There, take your boards, go to the vehicle." Like kicked them out of the shop, kind of deal. And then he shook my hand. He's like, "Oh, thanks. Like you just saved me $160."
Yeah.
But you know what? That dad was back the next day. He dropped over $200 on clothes and stuff for those kids.
Yeah.
So right there, you're doing, the good, the right thing. Not just making that sale. Okay, well, look, he respected that and he came back.
Yeah.
And then you had kids too that were support your local, like they're coming with their parents and mom would be, look, we can get this on the internet for $40. And then you hear the kids, no, mom, you support local. I'm like, oh, dude, that kid's rad. Dude, okay, like I'll help you out for sure.
We need way more of those
need
kids.
that. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that stuff, all the lessons learned from that. You can't regret it because you went for it. You learned lessons from it, right?
Yeah.
And if you didn't do something, well, then you're gonna regret. That's the only regret I see.
Yeah.
For myself, it's like if I didn't go on that trip, well, I'm gonna regret that, and I could have. Why didn't I?
Yeah, and I think even now, like looking back, the stories that we have about the skateboarding and that we wouldn't have if we wouldn't have gone for it, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you don't drop in, man, you don't know.
For sure.
Yeah. That's good. Well, that closed and we went on moved on and we get an apprenticeship for mechanic after that. And that's something too. I had no interest in mechanicing growing up, dude, man. Like, I changed skateboard wheels. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Turns out I'm a pretty good mechanic.
There you go.
Dude, you can relate. I related all to skateboarding. Like, come on. It's like, you're this thing with an issue. Okay, break it down. Same as a trick.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I break it down in simplest form. You know what I mean? Before I was doing kickflips, now you're doing, like tail slide kickflips. So what, you got to put all this shit together, break it down. Yeah. And then you get, it's no different than anything, right? Yeah. Cooking, everything, you want it, break it down, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so even now you're kind of got a career, but still skateboarding, obviously, because you're still skateboarding today. So.
Oh yeah, I'm still learning tricks. I'm still dreaming about tricks, man. All the time. That's always.
I don't think we ever quit.
No, you can't. I'm not bummed out, man. Laying in bed, I'll think about a skateboarding trick or something.
Yeah.
Get you a little bit jolly, man. You doze off, right on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about getting the park in Thompson? That whole fight with we didn't really talk about that a whole lot. Is there anything more to say about that, or?
No, not really. You mean they set you up with the park? Okay, we got the park, but then the entrance to the park, okay, it was all gravel. So why aren't you guys finishing and putting the sod or whatever? Rocks are getting dragged in, kids are hitting rocks.
Yeah, you talked about stuff being left in storage.
Oh yeah, the city had picnic tables for sitting. space is nice. Like you want a whole nice area, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
We had the pool there. We have tennis courts, basketball courts.
Yeah, you
And then
need
you have,
you need a space for like
Yeah, well, where's our picnic tables? Oh, well, they're all in storage. Well, why are they in storage? Well, we don't want to bring them out because they're going to get vandalized. It's like, well, dude, bring us the picnic tables.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I mean, like, you go over there and you got one bench. I mean, there's
Yeah.
families there. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
we want to sit. So, I mean, we bring our own chairs and stuff now because you have to. I mean, but come
Yeah.
on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a nice spot to go and chill. You want to go sit and watch, bring your kids with a picnic or whatever, dude. Watch them. I mean, kids get rad out there. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why not?
I feel bad for parents, like if they want to bring their kid to our spot here in Portage, because where do the parents sit, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
just
no, for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
And like you said earlier, like that's what you guys had. That's what we had for years too. And I mean, it just blows my mind that cities could just be so oblivious to, I mean, what that does for people. Like, look what skateboarding has done for me, man. Like, geez,
Yeah.
man, this brought me all over the place. I met so
Yeah.
many people.
Yeah.
I mean, and my son gets the same thing. Like, he grew up around skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Grew
Yeah.
up in the shop. I mean,
Yeah.
it's never forced on him, but I mean, like, he's a rad little dude. He grew, you know, you treated him like a dude, not a
Yeah.
little baby. You know, I didn't talk
Yeah.
to him like a baby. I talked to him like, you know what I mean, one of us.
Yeah.
That's how it is, right?
Yeah.
You got questions, I'll give you answers.
Yeah.
But if you screw around and misbehave, well, okay, well, hey, dude, you ain't going skating. Right? I'm sorry. So, yeah. But, yeah, the city's got to get on board, man. I mean, mischief, all that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been lucky at the park in Thompson that we haven't had too many issues at the park. Because Thompson's, there's lots going on up there right now. Just all the stabbings, dude, and everything, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's just crazy, right? But the park's on the farthest side of the city where, surprisingly, dude, like, you don't get that riff-raff jump, you know, getting over that area. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
but it's coming. I mean, yeah, I got to make a trip up there. I've been there all winter. When snow's gone, I'll head
Yeah,
up there and go see
yeah,
the boys and
exactly.
get
Yeah.
skate on. So, yeah.
Yeah. So just speaking of meeting people and stuff, I'm curious how you got connected to our good bros at Scam.
Oh, geez, man. That was a good one. I think I met Brendan Sanderson
Yeah.
out skating with a couple of my buddies. I think it was Travis Nemeth, Justin Golding, Alan Cook. Those guys that I grew up with in Thompson. Trav lives in Winnipeg now, but we went out skating one day and with Brendan and Trav, and I think Justin was there too. Yeah, we went to the university, and it was a funny story too. We were skating. We were just ripping around the place, and it was funny. I got the Skate and Destroy tattoo on my arm,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden Brandon Sanderson looks at me. He's like, "Dude, what's on your arm?" And I'm like, showing him. He's like, "No way, check out mine." It's just like, "Dude, where's my card?" Same tattoo, Skate and Destroy, same inner bicep, and we're just both like, "Dude, no way, dude." Like, yeah. And then, anyways, he said skate night's coming up because they do skate nights on
Yeah.
Thursdays.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I won't be there till later, but I'll give you the address and I'll tell them you're coming." So I remember that's when they had the old shop on. I can't remember the
Broadway?
street.
Was it
No,
Graham?
Graham. It was on
Graham,
Graham.
yeah.
Yeah. So I remember going there, and I'm nervous too because I'm good once I get meet people and
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
never met these people. Like Brandon's not there yet, so I remember I go there, I show up, they come up, open the door, and Cody answers the door. Cody Gallant.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, dude," and he gives me a hug. He's like, "Come on in." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sick." I'm like, "Okay, awesome."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that night, geez, we had an amazing session that night. And it was just like, bam, that was just about 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's just been on. You know what I mean? Those guys are so welcoming, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
so good guys, man. I mean, it's not for any of the wrong reasons.
Right.
I mean, they just love it. So
Yeah.
welcome, man. I get every time I come down from Thompson when I was still up there, I mean, we'd get sessions on at the ramp and
Yeah.
learn tricks. And then even Cody's going for his first trip to Vancouver a few years ago.
Yeah.
He's never been out there. I've been out there a few times skateboarding and stuff
Right.
like that.
Mhm.
I was on days off too. Guy's never been out like Manitoba besides Kenora or something like that. Or
Oh, okay.
Saskatchewan. You know, like
Yeah.
he's never
Yeah,
really
yeah.
traveled, never been on planes. I'm like, dude, I'm booking a plane or the same plane. We're going together kind of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on days off and we flew out there. Oh man, we went to Lee Side, man. We went to the hot spot. Took them all over the plaza. Took them to Vancouver Island to Fino first time, dude. We just had a time. I mean, like, I mean, you can't beat that, man.
Yeah.
And every time we get, but that's one of the guys too. Have one of the best sessions with all the time. Be it in the curb, be it on, I mean, parking lot, man. Like, and I'd see him learn tricks all the time, and like he's like, "Whoa, man, I never even thought about that." You know, like, it's so good. I mean, and you just get stoked, and like, that's how what's skating guys in Thompson too. I mean, Al Cook, Alnar, he's like my go-to skate because we're so similar. We're older. Same age.
Yeah.
So we can feed up. We're not jumping down stuff anymore.
Right.
We're not, you know what I mean, doing big set of stairs, stuff like that. Like Golding, super talented too, man. Like super good. He's still flying off all. He's super transition good, man. Like he'd be flying off everything.
Yeah.
Jumping down stuff. He's a guy too, man. He'd go there on lunch break, man, set up a camera and like just launch by himself. I mean, you see me doing that. You don't even see me do like a 50-50 on a box at lunch, like by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll pop an ollie. I'm like, I'm not feeling that. But let's do it off, right? So, yeah. Jesso's super good. And there's a super good scene up there, too, Thompson. I mean, can't say nothing bad about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good to
hear. And it's growing,
that.
and it just sucks to see. I mean, like, you're back to grabbing stuff from Doug's when you have to. But now guys are coming down south, and you'll buy few decks, set yourself up, and which is good. But and there's good spots. They're good for a year up there, and then winter comes, man. That good ledge that you had, you're super stoked on. You know what I mean? Come back springtime, and it's just like just pulverized. And they build everything cheap up there. Build some nice ledges for us. Come on, dude, make it last.
Figure it out.
But good scene up there. I wish those guys would come. Oh, they'll get down quite a bit though. So it's nice now I'm in Brandon, and it's expanding, man.
Yeah.
Guys in Brandon now, met you guys here. You guys in Winnipeg. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's I feel like we're kind of in like the swell is coming, right?
Yeah.
Like it seems to be growing again, which is always a good thing, and hopefully we can do our part to make sure we have it growing here in our local spot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy I grew up skating with in Thompson, he lives in Brandon, and his kid's birthday's Saturday. I mean, he's just young, but he wants a board. So I was talking to you about, and dude, I was that scam last week. They're out of decks, man. They've just been flying, man. Like, I mean, everywhere you go, decks are flying. Yeah. And that's good. That's what I told my buddy. I'm like, dude, I love it, man. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it sucks there's no deck there for you right now, but that means they're out there. People are skating.
It's a good problem.
I mean, and then he's getting a board too now, because, I mean, his son's getting a board.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shit.
Awesome.
I remember his son was over in fall before they left. They were all over, and let him ride the board in the garage, and they were just, you just see that look in there. Like, they're stoked, and then.
That same look you had with that.
Yeah, for sure. So when the parents were like, my buddy was inside or whatever, I grabbed him. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to take the board for the weekend? Take it home? He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Take it home. Like, and he's just like, really? I could take it home? Like, just stuff like that. You know, I mean, they remember that. Yeah. Because I did, man. I mean, that goes a long way. So. Yeah,
for sure.
You got to do that.
Yeah, it's good to hear that there's a scene that's thriving up there. And it's also good to hear the part that you played in keeping that alive. And so we're just happy to have you here, and that you came down.
Everything
and
coming and talking, man, talk skate, man, or whatever. I'm down. Like I said, I love it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I always say, like, my grandkids are gonna be like, let's go to Grandpa's ramp. You know what I mean, like, dude, I'm gonna always be ripping. That's it. I mean, that's how it's gonna go. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. That's inspiring for me. I love hearing that stuff, because often we have a lot of guys long before your age that kind of fade out, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So it's always fun to have somebody that's in it.
Yeah. Well, it is the fountain, man. I mean, dude, I'm 35, man. I don't feel it at all. I mean, your body might feel it, but you know what I mean? Hey, I'm getting in the gym. I want to keep skating well. I gotta keep care of my stuff, right?
Gotta take care.
You can't keep falling on concrete and expect your body just to be. But I mean,
that's true.
I'm getting up there, man. I still feel good because I'm skating. I mean, and then that's it. You see buddies, like, they roll around with you again. You just see that stoke in their face. They feel it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, go jump downstairs, but get in that board, man, roll.
Yeah.
Just whatever, right?
Even just push down the street, yeah.
Ollie hockey stick again.
Yeah.
See the stroke you get, right? So
That's why I want to get on the whole slappy thing, because I feel like that's my height right there.
No, for sure. I mean, that curve we seen today, I was like, oh man, like that's something I never got to do, but fun, dude. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you roll away from anything, dude. You're like, oh, dude, I want more.
Yeah.
You know, I want more.
Exactly.
So can't beat that.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks so much for coming in. And
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you guys around some more, and we're close communities now. So
yeah, for sure.
You guys have to deal with me now.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.